Okay, so for our last topic, for your computed and digital radiography, we have your quality assurance and maintenance issues for your digital and computed radiography. Okay, so we have your lesson 1, the radiologic technologies responsibilities. We have your QA and QC na tinatawag po natin. Your QA, it can be defined as a plan for the systematic observation and assessment of the different aspects of a project, service, or facility to make certain that standards of quality are being met. Your QA activities are also focused in your people and service. So dito sa quality assurance natin, we are measuring the quality of service rendered by the personnel naman po. Okay, so for example, meron kang pasyente na mag-i-inquire sa ating radiology department. The way you process their information, the way you assist them in giving them instruction in the radiologic procedures, if it is nice, lahat yun minemeasure ng ating quality assurance. It is a standard base po sa ating radiology department, okay? So, kahit anong department po, meron tayong tinatawag ng quality assurance. We are giving a quality service. We are assuring to give a quality service. So, dito sa QA, measure or ina-assess natin yung service na binibigay ng ating radiology department and yung performance ng ating mga personnel. Okay? So, we are doing our QA based on the standard of our mismong quality assurance, okay? Meron po silang mga standard yan, okay? Dapat sa service mo, ganito ka kabait, ganito ka kaayos, ganito ka dapat kalinis, okay? So, that's part of your quality assurance, okay? So, next, your QA activities is produced by quantitative data, okay? And then can be analyzed. So, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, para yung sa research, meron silang mga standard questionnaires, checklists, ayun. Meron silang mga checklist to check if you have met the standards of our quality assurance procedure. Excuse me. Okay, this data can be used to monitor the processes and determine whether the process is working as it should and whether the standard of quality has been met. Kapag bumagsak ka ng quality assurance, you have to repeat or you have to face the consequences. Okay? Sa kahit anong department, kahit anong institution, we have a quality assurance, okay? Sa ating school din, meron tayong quality assurance, okay? Next, we have your quality control. Kung kanina, ang quality assurance natin, it focuses on the people and the service. Your quality control naman po, it focuses on the machines or equipment na ginagamit natin sa pagde-deliver ng quality service, okay? So, your quality control is a comprehensive set of activities designed to monitor and maintain system that produce a product. Sa radiology department, what are those? That is your X-ray machine, your radiology department itself, the processing machines, okay? So, meron po tayong iba't ibang klase ng quality control. Lahat po ng ating mga ginagamit sa radiology department, it must be measured and calibrated so that we can give a quality radiograph and of course a quality service. Your quality control measures are taken to ensure that radiologic procedures are performed safely, are appropriate for the patient, and are performed efficiently, and of course, and it produces high quality images. For example, tests are performed on radiographic room to make sure that all the parts are functioning properly, such as your collimator, generator, and focal spots. Okay. So, we have different quality control examinations that we conduct in our radiology department. Lahat po, it must be calibrated. It must be measured. Your wall thickness po, it should be at least 6 inches concrete, okay? So that the X-ray won't penetrate it, and of course to give ourselves, the radiographers, additional protection from your ionizing radiation or your scatter radiations, I should say. Okay, so your quality control, lahat po mini-measure niyan, okay? Your collimators, your generator, it must be indicated kung anong power siya nag-ooperate. Your tawag dito, your cassettes, and your, of course, basta lahat ng nakikita natin sa radiology department, they are meticulously calibrated. Okay? So, next, your QC measures are required by law to maintain the license for the room or department. The data from the various activities are kept by designated individual within the department. So your QC is also basis for the improvement of your radiology department. Okay? So dito sa unang QC natin nakita na mali or may darken yung mga images natin. So there must be something wrong with the procedure or the machine itself. Okay? So you have to improve it through the quality control data. Okay, next, we have the different tests that we conduct in your quality control. First is we have your acceptance testing. This type of testing is performed before newly installed or majorly repaired equipment can be accepted by the department. So just like what I have said before, everything that we see in our radiology department, they are meticulously measured and based on a standard of our quality assurance. Okay? So, sa ating acceptance testing, before mag-install ng machine sa ating department or ma-manufacture ng mga material sa ating radiology department, we must conduct acceptance testing. Acceptance testing may be performed by a designated technologist, radiation physicist, and by service personnel employed by the hospital. So, sila po ang pwedeng mag-conduct ng acceptance testing. Hindi po pwede ang mga pasyente. Okay? Hindi rin po pwedeng mga janitor. Okay? It must be the radiologic technologists, the radiation physicists, and service personnel because they are more knowledgeable with the technology that are being installed or kaya sila yung mas nakakaalam talaga. Okay? So, the acceptance testing is used to determine whether the equipment is performing within the vendor's specifications and as promised. Okay, halimbawa, a CT scan. This machine can produce 64 slices of images. The other one naman, meron tayong isa pang manufacturer. Sabi niya, this CT scan machine can produce at least 80 slices of images. Okay? So, we perform your acceptance testing to prove that the vendor's specifications are met as they have been commercialized. Okay? So, hindi porket sinabi lang na 120 or 100 plus na images na kaya ng produce, ay okay, mas maganda to. We should perform acceptance testing first for us to be assured kung totoo ba talaga yung sinabi ng mga nagbebenta sa atin ng machine. Okay? So, hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta nag-a-avail ng machine. Of course, we have a lot of things to consider just like price, the location. Okay? So, we must consider everything. So, next, we have your routine maintenance. Ito, nung Jose Reyes ako, almost always 6 months nasisira yung aming X-ray machine, yung ceiling supported X-ray machine, and they perform routine maintenance. Okay, so your routine maintenance is performed to ensure that the equipment is performing as expected. Okay, so after 1 year, halimbawa after 1 year, does it still function the same way from the moment it was acquired or hindi na? So, we do the routine maintenance. So, this type of testing can catch problems before they become radiographically apparent. Okay? So, next, your routine maintenance is also testing that may be performed by radiologic technologists, a radiation physicist, or service personnel employed by the vendor. So, this is likewise the same with your acceptance testing. Okay? So, your error maintenance, when errors occur in equipment's performance, corrective actions may occur. Okay, halimbawa yung machine mo, biglang nag-x-ray ka, walang na-produce na image doon. Okay, na-experience ko before, digital radiography yung ginamit namin. Habang nagpipindot kami ng motor, ilang beses na kami nag-ulit, wala pa ring image na na-produce. Good thing na lang, we have 2 x-ray machines that time. Okay? Isa sa ER, isa sa OPD room. Okay? So, it was a challenge for us kasi madami kaming kinikater na patient sa Jose Reyes because it was a public hospital. Okay, so when errors occur, errors will be detected by poor equipment performance or poor quality outcomes. Okay, when there are error in your equipment, hindi lang naman porket nag-black ang image, dun lang nagkakaroon ng error sa ating image. Minsan may mga parang signal alam niyo sa TV na nawawalan kayo ng signal, that can be an error. Okay? Doon na go-occur yan sa ating computers later on. Okay, these corrections will generally be done by service personnel employed by the vendor. Okay, so hindi pwedeng basta-bastang tao yan. Okay, kapag external components po ng ating machine, it can be it can be fixed by the radiologic technologies or kaya yung mga nakakaalam po na tao sa ating hospital. But when it comes to the internal components of our machines, it cannot be checked or it cannot be fixed by the radiologic technologies kasi hindi naman siya yung nag-manufacture nun. It must be the manufacturer or your medical technologies because they are more knowledgeable with this kind of technologies. Okay? So, next, we have your continuous quality improvement. So, your CQI and compared to your QA and QC. Ang QA, QC kasi natin, standard na yan, hindi mo siya pwedeng baguhin. While your CQI, it tends to focus on the process rather than the people or the service. So, your CQI, I should say, or your continuous quality improvement, it focus on maintaining a certain level of quality. Okay, not necessarily improving to a higher quality. So, parang siya yung nagma-maintain ng quality. Halimbawa, yung QA, QC mo, you are maintaining a good quality of service already. Okay, so your CQI, it intends to improve or maintain that quality of service that you render. Okay, so your CQI focuses on improving the process or system. Okay, yun po ang ginagawa ng ating continuous quality improvement, which within the people function as a team members rather than focus on individuals work. So your QA, QC kasi sometimes we are only measuring the individual performance of our personnel. So your CQI naman, it is the entire radiology department itself or the entire personnel itself. Okay, so one of the most important concepts to understand with CQI is that all levels of people within the organization must be involved within the process of improvement. Okay? So, we must be always open with the improvement. Okay? Especially the recommendation of our continuous quality improvement. So, your QC technology should learn how to acquire the TG18-QC test pattern and use it on digital display device regularly. Okay, so your QC technologies, later on I will show you yung TG18-QC test pattern. I think I have attached this in your LMS. You can check it later on to know what is TG18. Okay, so your TG18 is used to ensure proper operation of each digital display device, and it is important to develop a continuous QC program. Okay, so your TG18 QC test pattern includes your medical physicist acceptance testing, your routine QC test by the technologists by using TG18, your periodic review of QC program by a qualified medical physicist, your annual and post-repair medical physics performance evaluation. Okay? So, your quality control by the technologies, your TG18, this is your TG18. Ito, ginagawa ng ating mga QC technologies, okay, to fix or kaya to ensure proper operations of our digital display. As you can see, it has different shade here. Merong mga malalabo na area, merong mga malilinaw na area. So, your TG18 QC test, yan po yung tinitignan natin to ensure the quality of images that we produce. Okay? Dito natin binabase yung mga quality ng image na binibigay natin. Ano kung para saan yung mga dark area, kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng mga clear areas, and of course, kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng mga vague areas. Okay? So, your TG18 test pattern should be viewed regularly. Okay? So, hindi ko po siya na-try before, but I think pwede siyang gawin ng mga radtech mismo. Okay? Although, a comprehensive QC program is strongly desirable, regular evaluations as monitor with the TG18 QC test pattern is important and takes just a few minutes. Okay? So, your QC records are essential and a quick review of the pattern should give the technologies an idea about any gross changes in system performance. So, yun ang sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina. Bakit may mga area na malalabo? Bakit may area na clear? So, TG18 tests must be conducted regularly to check and ensure that we still give quality images. Okay, next. Your performance, your lesson 2 na. Your service engineer or medical physicist responsibilities. Okay? So, your performance assessment standards are assessing the performance of digital display devices required that we have some understanding on the field of photometry. Okay, these following examinations are concerned with your digital images. Okay? Your computed and digital images. Okay? Just a quick recap with the difference of your computed and digital radiography. Okay? So, kapag computed radiography kasi or computed images, you still have to process your images in a processor. Okay? Ang digital images kasi, direct ka na. Kapag after mo na-expose, wala ka nang, hindi mo na siya ipaprocess, diretso na siya sa computer. Okay? And these following tests that you can see in your screens are tests that must be conducted to assure that we still have acquired a quality image. Okay? So, your SMPTE. So, first is your SMPTE or the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. Okay? Has described the format, dimensions, and contrast characteristics of a pattern used to make measurements of the resolution of display systems. Okay? So, among other characteristics that pattern provides, the most common is the observation of 5 and 95% luminance patches. Ito po siya. Okay? So, your 5 and 95% luminance patches. So, I think I have also included this one in your LMS already. Okay, para alam nyo po kung para saan siya. This helps to point out any gross deviations in luminance adjustment. Okay, so mga ini-indicate po niya by percentage yung luminance patches po ng ating images. Okay, so binabase po natin sa ating SMPTE yun. Okay, it is a standards for teleradiology. Or later on, we will discuss what is your teleradiology. Okay, so it is in standard for teleradiology. The American College of Radiology or your ACR has recommended that the SMPTE pattern should be used for QC purposes as well. Okay, so your most digital imaging equipment vendors provide the pattern in a format such as that it can be displayed on digital monitor for evaluation purposes. Okay, so this is your SMPTE. May mga designated percentage po dyan na basis po sa ating digital images. Okay, so we have your NEMA DICOM. It produces your grayscale naman po. So this is what you call your grayscale. The measure of your luminance of the image or your radiograph po, digital radiograph. Okay, the ACR and the National Electrical Manufacturers Association form a committee that generated a standard for digital imaging and communication that is referred to as DICOM. Your DICOM is a form of teleradiology. It is a communication with the different systems in your hospital information. Later on, we will discuss that more thoroughly. Okay, so they represented their work as a document known as Grayscale Display Function or your GSDF. So, your NEMA DICOM, ito lang po yung pinoproduce niya, your grayscale. Okay? So, the intent of this standard was to allow medical images to be transferred according to the DICOM standard to be displayed on DICOM-compatible display device with a consistent. Okay, what are these DICOM-compatible display devices? Those are your computers that can be used in your hospitals. Okay? Next is we have your DIN 2001. Okay, so your DIN 2001 was the German standards institution. Okay, so this is the meaning of your DIN, but I do not know how to pronounce it because I think it is Greek or Spanish. It is a published document called Image Quality Assurance in X-ray Diagnostic Acceptance Testing for Image display devices. Okay? So your DIN 2001 was developed as an acceptance testing standard that addressed the requirements for digital display devices. So again, your acceptance testing must be performed in order to ensure that the device or the machine that you have newly installed is working. Okay? Next is we have your VESA. Your VESA ang ginagamit sa pagpunta ng abroad. No. In 1998, the Flat Panel Display Measurement or your FPDM standard version 1.0 was released by the Video Electronic Standard Association or your VESA. This standard provides a set of instructions that can be used to help in the evaluation of system performance according to a compliance standard. Yun po ang VESA natin. I haven't seen this in the internet kasi. Okay, so your VESA is a standardized tool po na ginagamit natin para sa evaluation ng ating system performance sa radiology department, especially that we are using your digital radiography. Next, we have your AAPMTG-18. So, it is used to evaluate a digital display device comprehensively toward the goal of ensuring acceptable clinical performance or your also known as the American Association of Physicists in Medicine. Okay, it was developed a set of test patterns and outlined related procedures in Task Group Report 18. Okay, I think I have also attached this one in your LMS. Okay, kapag wala po, you can search it in the YouTube kung paano po siya ginagawa. Okay, so your AAPMTG-18 measurements and observations should be instituted for all digital display services. Okay. It can be defined